This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Nevada. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the University of Nevada and Learfield.
Mountain West Conference play is finally here for the Wolfpack football team as Nevada begins its league slate against San Jose State. Touchdown. Welcome inside our Champion Chevrolet Nevada Sportsnet studios. I'm your host this week, Shannon Kelly. After 5 non-conference games, the Wolfpack has already matched its win total from the 2023 season under first-year head coach Jeff Choate. Let's head out to the Bay Area where Alex Margulies has the highlights.
After a 2-week layoff for both the Wolfpack and the Spartans, they returned to action in what was an absolute scorcher here in San Jose. Temperatures nearing 100 degrees at kickoff. Let's get to the highlights. Nevada making their first trip to the Bay since 2022. First drive of the game, Chubba Purdy completes his first pass in a Nevada uniform over to Marcus Bellin. Nevada chumming along. Inside the 5 now, Brendan Lewis hits Jaden Smith in the corner. Nevada on the board first. It's 7-0. Spartans, though, a quick answer on their first drive, and then it started to look like it was going to be a track meet. Second quarter, Emmett Brown hits Nick Nash from 24 yards out. The Spartans grab a 14-7 advantage. Nevada, though, swings right back. 10-yard touchdown run from Brendan Lewis. It's now 14-all. Spartans back on the attack. How about former Nevada wide receiver Justin Lockhart? He hauls in a 37-yard touchdown. San Jose State swings back in their favor. Nevada, though, gets the answer before the end of the half. Lewis to Smith, his second tutty of the game. It's 21-all heading into the break. Nevada throws the first punch after halftime. It's Lewis on a 14-yard scamper. He had 90 yards on the ground, and the Wolfpack would take the lead and hold that lead until the final couple minutes of this game. Walker Eget, now at quarterback for San Jose State, hits a big over-the-top shot to stun the Wolfpack 51 yards. And the Spartans are in business. Then it's a trick play. The toss over to Nick Nash, a former quarterback himself. The trick play touchdown. Spartans take the lead, and they would hold off a rebuttal from Nevada. The Spartans top the Wolfpack 35-31.
Tough loss, man. You know, we fought hard. We made some mistakes, but we put ourselves in a position to overcome, and unfortunately, we just fell short.
How hard is it to have that win just, 1-2 plays maybe away from coming out of this thing with a victory?
It hurts a lot, for sure, but it's not the time to try and go back and change our identity or fix anything. Or it's time to fix things, but it's not time to change anything. Stick to our identity and just keep doing what we do and just be more disciplined in order to have a different outcome for the rest of the season and in games like this.
What do you feel like was the difference in this one today?
I just say we made more mistakes than they did, the penalties and stuff like that. Coach Choate, he's steady trying to hone on to that, us not killing ourselves in penalties. So I feel like that kind of played a part in some of the game was the penalties.
How hard was it to be, maybe 1-2 plays away from getting a win here on the road?
It's very hard every time we come up short, or any game really. But like I said before, we just got to come back together for next week and just move on, clear our minds so we can get the win for next week.
Do you feel like this team is close to putting together that kind of winning streak and really starting to get some kind of momentum going?
Oh, most definitely. We're knocking on the door, man. All we got to do is open it. And as far as where we are now, it's time for us really to just kick the door down and start this streak running hot and not look back.
We have a whole lot to get to on this week's edition of Wolfpack All Access, including a feature on Jeff Choate's coaching staff and how their Montana roots brought them together to the biggest little city. Plus, we head over to the Lombardi Pool to check in with the swimming and diving team. That and much more is straight ahead.
Kai Woods motion right. Fake the jet sweep. Lewis up the middle to the 10. Spins at the 5 and goes into the end zone for the lead. Brendon Lewis, second rushing touchdown of the ball game. Nevada back in front. 9:16 in the third. 27-21.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, joined with head coach Jeff Choate over in Legacy Hall. Coach, real tough game last night over in the Bay Area against San Jose State. Just How do you kind of wrap your head around this one here on Sunday?
Yeah, I felt like we were pretty evenly matched going into this. I knew they had a good team. I think that they're in that upper tier of the Mountain West Conference and know how to win. They've been competitive for a while, even though it's a new coaching staff. There's a lot of holdover, rather, especially on the defensive side with Derek Odom still being there in his 8th season as a defensive coordinator. Going on the road is always a challenge, but we got to believe that we're on the right track and continue to have the discipline to stay the course and not deviate from that. And that's my job as the head coach, is to make sure we do that, and that our coaches realize, hey, we've got to bring energy today. We've got to bring energy tomorrow. We've got to get kids are resilient. They'll bounce back. And I think we just got to have the courage to live our lives as we see ourselves, and don't worry about what other people say about us, and keep pressing forward. And that's going to be the message.
Can't let a team beat you twice.
Exactly.
As it's a new week ahead. You mentioned you're sick to your stomach about a play. Can you elaborate that a little bit?
Going back, if I had it to do over again, I think I would have gone for it on 4th down there. Whatever. It was just that weird 4th and 4.5. We hadn't really run the ball between the tackles well. We were probably going to have to throw it, which means you're stopping the clock. You're giving the ball back to them on about the 42-yard line. I thought, what the heck, let's see if we can draw them off, get a free 1st down. That didn't work. Back it up. We've been really good at pinning the ball all week and really all year. That was one thing that Guy Gillespie's done a good job at. But again, hindsight's 20/20. I think I probably would have gone for it if I had it to do over again.
A little bit later in the game there, a couple unsportsmanlike penalties on Keyshawn Cobb, Cortez Braham, moved the chains ahead for them a little bit, and then San Jose State scored some touchdowns in the first half.
I think the first one, the one on Keyshawn, I'm still a little confused on what that was about. I was pretty frustrated in the moment. I didn't really agree with what was being described to me. And even if you watch the TV portion, you're like, I don't know where this happened. And so, but by the same token, they called it. And so that was a 2nd and 10 that would have been a 3rd and 10. Hey, maybe they get a field goal opportunity, but they don't get the touchdown. And then both the one on Cortez and then later in the game, San Jose State had the exact same thing where you get an unsportsmanlike after a touchdown. Again, I can't see what happened.
I want to talk about your quarterback, Brendon Lewis. Pretty phenomenal last night. 23 of 30 attempts, more than 200 yards in the air, 2 passing touchdowns, 90 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Just what did you like about his ability to be able to read the defense and take what he could get when he was able to?
Yeah, he was really confident last night. He like I talked about earlier, the access throws, where they're giving you cushion pre-snap and you're like, all I got to do is just spit it out there. He did a great job of taking care of taking advantage of open access throws. He used his feet both on schedule and off schedule, meaning we had some +1 run game stuff for him, especially in the second half. And he had some of the most determined runs that I've ever seen him have as our quarterback here. He has to have a lot of confidence coming out of last night, going up against a defense that's a pretty good defense for our level. A lot of veterans coming back on that side of the ball, a physical front. And we were able to distribute the ball, hit a lot of different targets, made some critical 3rd down throws. As I mentioned earlier, moved the ball effectively, but just the way he did it, how determined he was on some of those runs, that looked different to me. And I was like, okay, we're going to be able to win with this guy. We get this kind of effort out of this guy, we're going to win. And I think his teammates really rallied around him as well and recognized, hey, this is a different dude, man. Let's get behind this guy and go.
I know you mentioned on your coach's show this week, I thought it was really interesting how
you listen to my coach's show?
I do listen
That's
to
awesome.
it. I do, and I really
you,
enjoy it.
You, my brother,
actually.
and my stepmom.
I think it's great. I really do enjoy it. And you mentioned in this next 6-game stretch about being +2 in the turnover margin, and how do you feel like that can really help make a difference? Because that is an area where you guys have lacked a little bit these last several weeks.
We're a little bit of a drought right now, let's call it that, right, in terms of our ability to take the ball away from the opponent. We had a couple opportunities last night, and I do think that we affected the quarterback even though we didn't have sacks. I mean, they ended up saying, this guy's not going to win the game for us, and they went into the other guy, and credit to him, he did. And so I feel like that part of the mission was accomplished, but taking the ball away is taking the ball away. I mean, we had one turnover. It was obviously on the Hail Mary at the end of the game, so it's kind of one of those is kind of a scratch. But I think for us to be able to say, hey, look, we're not consistently turning the ball over on the opponent. We're taking care of the ball. We need to take it away from the opponent. And our margin's this big. Like, okay, that turnover might be worth 3 or 4 points. Well, that's a win or two for us.
Just as we're here on Sunday, I mean, what is your message to the guys as you head into this week knowing how close these last couple of games have been?
Yeah, accept personal responsibility as coaches, as players. Fix the problems. Don't talk about fixing the problems. Fix the problems. Conduct ourselves with more discipline in every aspect of our life, and that'll lead to success on on Saturday, and I think that's the place. We got to tighten the screws on some things, and don't let things get loose. I told the players after the game, now is not the time to point fingers. Now is not the time to splinter. It's the time to galvanize and get tighter, and that's going to start with us as coaches and being demanding and not backing off a bit. And we're going to figure this thing out. And there might be a little collateral damage. That's just a part of the. You're going to break some eggs if you're going to make an omelet. And right now, that's what we're trying to do.
Should be a good one on Saturday. Nevada and Oregon State, a 4:30 kickoff at Mackey Stadium. Coach Choate, thanks so much for joining us.
You bet.
Coming up next, when Jeff Choate formed his coaching staff, he didn't need to look far, as his connection with much of his staff stems from their days together in Montana.
A freak foot injury 17 years ago cleared the way for Colin Kaepernick to take center stage. On October 6, 2007, Nevada's then starting quarterback Nick Graziano broke a tendon in his foot against Fresno State. In stepped the skinny backup with the unusual last name. Playing just 2.5 quarters, Kaepernick piled up 384 passing yards, 60 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns in the 49-41 loss. A week later, Kaepernick got his first college start, scoring 5 more times in a 69-67 quadruple overtime defeat at Boise State. Stardom ensued, with Kaepernick going 32-15 as Nevada's starter thereafter, while rewriting the Wolfpack and NCAA record books en route to an 8th place finish in the 2010 Heisman Trophy vote and a Super Bowl appearance 2 years after that. But if not for that injury at a sun-soaked Mackey Stadium almost 2 decades ago, the legend of Colin Kaepernick may have never been born.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, presented by Champion Chevrolet. The state of Montana is often referred to as the last best place. So when it came time to form his first Wolfpack staff, Jeff Choate knew exactly where to look. Here's Mike Stephenson with more.
From the Treasure State to the Silver State, Nevada football's new leadership has a core 4 that goes way back.
Myself, Armstrong, B.J. Robertson, and Matt Lubick, we all met in Dillon, Montana 100 years ago.
It was actually in 1993 when their relationship was sprouted with humble beginnings as Western Montana Bulldogs.
Coach Choate was coaching, Matt was a senior, and then Coach Armstrong was just a year older than I was.
If you would have ever told me I'd be the offensive line coach at the University of Nevada 20 years ago, I would have said, are you kidding me? That's, like winning the lottery.
We always talked about, hey, we'd love to be on the same staff together, and kind of a crazy way this worked out, just was like the perfect fit.
For the first time since then, all 4 are working together. Head coach Jeff Choate, offensive coordinator Matt Lubick, offensive line coach Brian Armstrong, and director of recruiting B.J. Robertson.
The thing I think you got to do when you build your initial staff, it's got to be people that know you and that you trust. They understand when I say X, they can read between the lines. This is what coach means. They can tell all the other people in the room, no, this is what he's saying. Now listen.
There's no growing pains. We kind of know how each other thinks, and it's been awesome. It's like coaching with your friends and family.
Here we are in Reno, Nevada, all back together, and it's just, it's pretty surreal, and it's storybook.
Another to come from Big Sky Country to the biggest little city is defensive coordinator Kane Ione. Often labeled the greatest Montana State Bobcat ever, he was a 4-time All-American while playing in Bozeman.
This is the only way I wanted to end my career on my home field.
Montana loves their football. They really do. And the great thing about Montana is just how connected people are.
You meet somebody in Montana, and if you don't know them, you name 6 people and they name 6 people, and at the end of it, you might be related.
Whether by blood or not, because most Montanans are cut from a similar cloth.
I still remember the days when I was a head football coach at Rocky Mountain College, and I'd paint the field. No job's too big or too small, very blue-collar people and hard-working people, and I think tough, physically and mentally tough.
It's not all the frizzles. I mean, there's just not that much stuff in Montana. That's why relationships are really strong. And a lot of people grow up with a lot of pride in that state.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're a good fit here in Reno. I think Nevada is very, very similar.
And like the winning culture he created as the head coach at Montana State, Jeff Choate and company plan to do the same with the Wolfpack.
When I think of Montana, I think of home and family, and when I think of Nevada football and Wolfpack football now, that's what I want this place to feel like as well.
When you get the right people that care, it's electric and it catches fire.
And this kick is good.
I'm excited about that challenge and to share Coach's vision and what he has for Reno and for Nevada football.
That's when the magic happens, when you get a great place with great people.
For Wolfpack All Access, I'm Mike Stephenson.
The Wolfpack's Montana connection stretches even further. Wide receivers coach James Price spent last season at Montana State, as did Nevada's nutritionist Brittany Patera. The team's new creative media staff, Garrett Becker and Kate Brown, also came from Bozeman. Coming up next, we head over to the Lombardi Pool to check in with the swimming and diving team.
Hi, my name is Izzy Sullivan. I'm with the Nevada women's basketball team. Probably just all my family there. It's just great to see them whenever I go back, and they're just a huge support system. I'd say all the people, my teammates, and then the weather in the summer is great too. It's nice compared to Seattle rain and stuff. I always eat a bag of candy and listen to music. Gummy bears usually before the game. I just like that there's like the kitchen and stuff, just because my schedule's busy with class, so I'm able to come in and like get food in between classes and practice and stuff. So we got an air fryer in there, so I'll be making bagels with pepperoni on them and cheese. It's good. I'm really like playing Boise State. I think they're a great team, so I'm super excited to play them.
Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access. I'm Shannon Kelly. The swimming and diving team's 2024 season is just getting underway. We had the chance to stop by the Lombardi Pool to mic up ninth-year head swim coach Brendon Bray. This season marks his 20th coaching at the NCAA level.
So here's what we're gonna do, very simple. 10 25s, an easy 50 and a 50, 8 25s, an easy 50 and a 50, 6 25s, an easy 50 and a 50. The easy 50 and then the 50 that you do in the end is back end speed, so it's a sprint. Okay, and we'll get your times on that, and you're trying to improve as you go through. This is always really exciting because we're starting to find out about our new team. On paper, this is the best team that I've had in 9 seasons. I can't speak for the other teams in our conference, but we are very deep, and we also cover all the events. We have a very strong but small diving squad this year. We had Bailey was one of our captains. She was redshirting this past season. We also had a red shirt with one of our distance swimmers from New Zealand who wasn't on the team last year. So they're new, but not new in the same time. And then we added 6 people in addition to that, and 3 of them are very veteran transfers, have a lot of race experience. You're gonna do 10 25s on 40, and your goal on that is to try to be at a 15.5 or better. We've always been represented at the national championship, so we've been well known as a kind of national brand, but we're proud that we're the only women's team that's won a Mountain West championship. And there's been a 2-year period now where there has not been a Nevada team to win a championship. Your mark, up. And we're trying to kind of get into that discussion so that we bring a championship back for Nevada. Yeah, you look really good. Let's just keep getting more reps under your belt. You're doing a great job, yeah. I want to see the tempo up because that was really good endurance speed that you did, but now I want to see like push it so that you're like having a hard time finishing the last 5 yards. Okay.
The ladies' next home meet is on Saturday, October 26th at the Lombardi Pool when they host Fresno State. We'll wrap up this week's show after this short break. Welcome back to Wolfpack All Access, presented by Champion Chevrolet. The women's volleyball team continued Mountain West play on the road this weekend. First with a game at UNLV, falling in a 5-set nail-biter to the Rebels. The ladies then traveled to San Diego State and dropped its match against the Aztecs. The women's soccer team continued its conference slate against Air Force, dropping a close match 1-0. The ladies then took on Colorado College and came away with a victory against the Tigers to snap its 10-game losing streak. Wolfpack basketball season is less than a month and a half away, and half-season mini plans for the men's games are on sale for as low as $130. You pick the games you want to attend at Lawler this season. Plus, 11 of Nevada's Mountain West games were selected to be on national TV this season. A handful of tip-off times are set, so just head over to nevadasportsnet.com to see the schedule so far. Be sure to head out to Mackey Stadium on Saturday for Nevada's final non-conference game of the season against Oregon State. It's Nevada's 150th anniversary celebration. Tickets start at just $20. Head to mynevadatickets.com or call 775-348-PACK to secure yours today. Kickoff is set for 4:30 in the afternoon. That'll do it for us this week on Wolfpack All Access from inside our Champion Chevrolet studios. I'm Shannon Kelly. We'll see you next week.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.